This is TWiT.
This is from a blog called Less Wrong, lesswrong.com. John Wentworth. He's making his own COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay.
He says, first of all, I have a little wet lab experience from my undergraduate days, but the skills needed are pretty minimal. All the materials and equipment to make the vaccine cost about $1,000. You do not need any special license or anything like that. You don't need FDA approval, as long as you're not giving it to anybody but yourself and your family. The largest majority of the cost, $850, was the peptides. These, you can buy these. I had no idea. You can buy them online. They're the main active ingredients of the vaccine, short segments of protein from the COVID virus. They're all fewer than 25 amino acids. So they can't function as proteins. They're not dangerous. For instance, as an example, COVID's spike protein has 1,273 amino acids, so less than 25. The whole point of it is it's not dangerous. It can't do anything to you, but your immune system looks at it and goes, whoo, that sequence, don't let that in. That's what gives you the immunity. The peptides are custom synthesized. I had no idea. There are companies which will do this. Any short peptide sequence you want. There are dozens of them online. You can use the cheapest ones. You don't need to purify them. They don't need any special modifications. You don't need much. The minimum order size from the company we used would have been sufficient for 250 doses. We bought twice as much because it only costs $50 extra to get double the peptides, and extras are nice in the case of mistakes.
But he doesn't need to give this stuff to anybody else.
He's not. It's just him and his wife. You need a stir plate, beakers, microcentrifuge tubes, 10 and 50 milliliter vials, a pipette in the 0.1 to 1 milliliter range, and pipette tips, all available on Amazon. Here's the other materials. They're sold as supplements. Ketosan and sodium tripolyphosphate. They're also maybe a little vinegar and deionized water. You can get everything on Amazon. Simple to do. You just, I know, this is hysterical. You prepare the solutions of each component, dissolve it separately, stick in the freezer till it's needed. Circularize 2 of the peptides, which means really just adding a few grains of activated charcoal to the tube and shaking it for 3 hours. So maybe you need a little shaking machine. Then back in the freezer when it's time for a batch, take everything out of the freezer, mix it together. Pipette in
soon to be a TikTok recipe.
This is hysterical. Finally, and this is the thing, it goes up your nose. It's not an injection. It makes it both less dangerous, but also a little harder to prove that it's working because all of the current tests are blood tests. And for the antibodies, because he and his wife are going to get antibody tests to see if it did anything. Right. And he's, he says on the one hand, putting it in your nose is probably a good idea because that's where you want the immunity because that's how the virus gets in. On the other hand, unfortunately, all the antibody tests are blood tests, so it may not be that you get an immune response or a strong immune response in the blood if you put it up your nose. Anyway, it's a great article. He's going to stay tuned. He's going to let us know how the tests work. Wow.
Hey, good on you for trying.
He says you can't hurt yourself because of the way it is. It's just not, worst case, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's hope that's the worst case.
He says it's a fun project in its own right, and it gets dramatically cheaper with more people. Remember, $1,000 bought enough supplies for 500 doses. The largest benefits.
You've been wasting your time trying to make sourdough.
I'm going to do. Yeah, I might do this.
No. I mean, if you do it, just also make sure you get the vaccine later.
What if I vaccinated, or you see, it's not a vaccine. What if I did this for the whole company, John? Would you all do it?
That would be no.
I think this would be a great story. Podcast company vaccinates its entire staff using homemade vaccine. I'm in.
That's and the bald black guy just watches.
That's what's so cool.
See, John is the loyal employee.
That's just what's so cool about mRNA vaccines as opposed. See, if this were, a traditional vaccine, I wouldn't do it because it's a little more dangerous. But an mRNA vaccine is harmless. Now, he unfortunately doesn't publish the recipe. What peptides to get? I might have to send him a note.
So Dr. Mon gave me advice. I said before the show that I think I got a delayed reaction to the shot, like 2 weeks delayed.
Yeah, did she say with that that's possible?
Oh, wow.
She said,
2
go get
weeks.
a test. No, she said, you can still get it after the first shot, get a test.
Yeah, you got to get
yes,
two.
Yes.
You got to get two.
Yeah.
I love this guy,
Okay.
Huge Ma. I can't be how he pronounces his name. Huge Ma. He works at Airbnb as a software engineer. He was trying to sign up his mom for a vaccine in New York City. It was so complicated, he decided to develop a site. He did it in 2 weeks, cost him $50, called TurboVax, that went to all the different sites, because apparently there are many, many different sites, to try to find an appointment in the city and state official systems. Do it yourself. It's what all the kids are doing now. You got the tech skills, make your own vaccine. Make your own website.
Yeah.